Many thanks for staying with us right here on Morning at NTV with me, Romeo Busiku and Mala. Let's now get into our Tech Note conversation of the day. Later this week, members of Parliament from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association will converge in Kampala to discuss several issues, including unemployment. One of the delegates who will be attending this conference is Honorable Jalia Lukumu Bintu, Masindi woman, Member of Parliament. She joins us right now in studio. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, moderator, and good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Yeah. Now, first things first, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association will be converging from the 22nd to the 29th. Now, what are some of the key highlights of the agenda to be discussed?
The Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference, which is a conference that brings together all the members of Parliament who belong to the Commonwealth countries, will be converging here, and these are 53 countries, and we expect each country to have delegates represented here and being led by their speakers, the different speakers of different legislative assemblies, but also we shall have those speakers from the different provinces with also their delegates, and it varies on the number of delegates. Each country, you have your specific number of delegates which you are supposed to send, and it depends on the numbers of members of Parliament that you have in your country.
Right.
So as we converge here, we shall be looking at the issues of unemployment amongst the youth. We shall also be looking at issues of innovations, issues of climate change, issues of gender, issues of bullying, combating bullying in parliaments, issues of terrorism and how to combat terrorism.
Right.
We shall also have to look at the issues of people with disabilities. Those are also issues which concern us so much. We shall look at issues of governance, because under the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, we share good tenets of governance, good governance. And we shall also look at the legislative practices in different parliaments. Yeah.
All right.
So we shall be sharing experiences, because one of the objectives of this conference is to share experiences with the other countries. And in sharing, you get to learn the best practices which are being carried out in different countries.
So learning best practices from different countries. Now, right here back home, we have a very big problem incapacitating the activities of Parliament, and that is the executive influencing the activities in Parliament. Will any of it come up at the conference? Will any of that be discussed? The influence of the executive?
It will depend on the topics that will be discussed. Yeah, because why the Commonwealth accepted to Uganda to host? One of the key requirements was that you must be in agreement, compliant with the guidelines which are set by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. So for the entire Commonwealth to come and sit in Kampala, it shows confidence in Uganda.
What are some of these guidelines?
Some of the guidelines: you must be having an independent parliament. You must be
independent
parliament, which we have. You must be having good governance within your systems, political systems, but also you must be abiding by some of the requirements, like you must be adhering to the requirements of having gender as gender incorporated into your systems.
So the number of women should be at par with the number of men in Parliament?
Not exactly at par, not necessarily.
But at least a considerable number of women.
You should have taken at least an initiative to make sure that women are represented. You must be also compliant with some requirements for those disadvantaged groups, like people with disabilities. And Uganda is a case to learn from, because we even go ahead to have the youth, because the Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference believes that the future belongs to the young people.
All right.
And you must be planning accordingly, because the way the population explosion is taking rid of the entire.
Because the children...
So the youth are already, the numbers growing.
Yes, the young people used to call children who were born after the war, 1990 up to 2000, are now adults.
But even us, we were young. Even us, we were young.
So that brings us...
Point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the
So,
unemployment debacle.
yeah.
At this conference, how do you plan to sort this out?
The issue of unemployment, that topic was sponsored by Punjab
Yes.
as a country, because in CPA, a country can decide to sponsor a topic according to the needs of your home country. So Punjab sponsored that topic, and they are the key presenters, and then we shall have other countries to discuss. But for us, Uganda, we shall be the discussant. And as discussant, we've invited the Minister of Gender, the Commission of Gender, to come and make a case on the strategies that have been put in place by our government to make sure that we handle the issue of unemployment.
Right.
But we also invited the Uganda National Students Association and the National Youth Council, the manufacturers, the young people who are in manufacturing to come also and share their cases with the entire world on how they are trying to grapple with unemployment, and and also to be able to propose some of the strategies which can be used by different countries on sorting out the issue of unemployment.
All right.
So those will be some of our delegates, but we have also youth from other countries who are going also to share with the entire Commonwealth fraternity on how they have handled the issue of unemployment.
Honorable, you know, when you talk of unemployment, and this has been a key conversation in our country, Uganda, for a very long time, and the first thing that is pegged to unemployment is our curriculum, educational curriculum. So in these deliberations, in this particular conference, are we going to have the voice of the Ministry of Education, perhaps?
Yes, but this meeting being a meeting which brings together the members of Parliament, we have the youth members of Parliament whom we feel they must have an input into this discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course, Ministry of Education, we have ministers, they are MPs, so they also belong to this forum. So we hope that we shall get more voices coming in to be able to discuss. We have also as a country gone ahead to invite the representatives from all the universities within the country.
All right.
Yeah, to come and participate. You know, those are people who very soon will be out. So possibly they may be thinking of having ways of how this issue can be addressed.
And
so
they also experience the curriculum firsthand,
yeah,
so they know where the gaps are.
So they know where the gaps are.
Right.
So we have also invited them on our delegation, the Ugandan delegation. We don't know what the other countries have. Their delegates, the background and where they are coming from. Yeah.
Okay, now some of the objectives of this conference will be assessing the legal practices and governance procedures of other governments, and one of them being the independence of Parliament. Now, here in Uganda, back home, we witnessed during the age limit debacle in 2017, members of the Special Forces Command invading Parliament, throwing out MPs who are deliberating on this issue. In your opinion, do you think this was rightly done?
I cannot give an opinion on that issue.
Because this is the executive imposing itself on Parliament.
I cannot give an opinion on that issue. One, because I cannot figure out the people who entered Parliament, because Parliament
they were verified Special Forces
Parliament
Command
as an
people.
institution.
It also has its own security.
Police.
Yes.
And
but they were nowhere to be seen on that day.
I cannot justify that those ones were either from outside or from Parliament, because the parliamentary police is too big. So at times you don't know even people who have been transferred, people who have been brought in. So I'm not in a position to respond to that.
Indeed. During that reign, it was the reign of former IGP Kaleka Ihura, and he came out on camera and said, yes, these people, I called for their help. They are the SFC.
I did not hear that.
He did come out and say,
I did not hear that. I did not hear that.
I asked for the help of the Special Forces Command to come and help rein in on the hooliganism in Parliament.
But I believe it was parliamentary police. That's what I believe.
But
because we have parliamentary police who at times can access. Yes.
All right.
But if it wasn't, then
now,
it's unfortunate.
Ms. Jalia, denying the influence of the executive in Parliament means the problem will stick.
I'm not denying the influence of
because we're entering the election cycle in 2020.
Mr. Moderator,
yes.
I'm not denying the influence of executive, because the three arms of government work together. We complement each other. There is no one arm of government which can work in isolation.
But you agree there is need for independence in Parliament?
Yeah, independence is there. I believe we have independence because the fact that we can receive even a private members' bills, and we debate them. We can move motions and debate them. Well, to an extent, we have the independence, but the independence, it's relative. It's you who determine the minimum levels where independence stops.
Yes.
Yeah, because you may be seeing us as if we are not independent, but others are looking at Uganda. At least you are independent.
Right.
There are other parliaments where you will find
the worse off.
Yeah, it's only the bills which are brought to on the floor of the house from the executive which are being passed, and the private members' bills are not.
So it
So
looks like
let's look at our situation
Right.
as a situation which also to us is at least to a certain level we have that independence that it takes.
You know, Honorable, conversations of independence are, it's not the first time we're having these conversations, and before we cover that chapter,
and it's not the last time,
and it's not the last time,
Yes,
and it's not just a and
that's why there are parliaments,
Right.
there are elections to determine all that.
Right.
So, and that's why we are having also these other meetings. This meeting, the CPC,
Right.
Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference meeting.
And it's not just
it's always there every year,
Yeah.
and each country, the host country, determines the topics that are going to be discussed in
Okay.
conjunction with the headquarters. The CPC headquarters is in London.
All right.
So you have to sit and look at the topics and also allow other countries to bring in topics where we feel this is a current issue, an issue which needs to be handled by members of parliament.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because then this is not a peculiar conversation to the
Yes.
Ugandan parliament alone. All the Commonwealth countries
yes.
have experienced the same, the matter and issue of independence. Now let me ask you
and
this.
when you experience them, like in this meeting which commences on 22nd, you share on how you managed it and what happened,
Right.
and the others also share with you, and you pick out. It's a continuous
Learning process. Now my question
yeah.
on this one would be, where would you put the status of the Ugandan parliament with regards to how independent it is, the degree of independence,
The status,
especially
what
now,
do you mean?
the status of
the status?
Yes, the status
Okay.
of
Okay.
the independence of the Ugandan parliament, especially in light of what happened in 2017. Let me finish, Honorable. And this is something that Ugandans will not bury anytime soon. We saw different members of parliament coming out to say that, hey, money was dished out to compromise the stand of this particular key vote on the presidential age limit. That was a conversation, and we have that. We are, Honorable. You can say that you don't watch news, honestly. Honorable, you cannot say that you don't watch news and you don't, and you're not in that particular parliament. Now, a majority, quite a number of members of parliament did say that money did exchange hands. Now, in light of that, I want you to maybe reflect and tell us what is the current status of the degree of independence in the Ugandan parliament. You can give us on a rate of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10.
What you are talking about, the 2017 scenario, that was one of the many things which have taken place in parliament. I will refer you to some of the laws which we have passed, and members take decisions and they vote according to what
Honorable,
they feel
on this
is
one,
right.
on this particular incident where, and I'm telling you, and I'm sure you interact with your people, this is something that will not be buried anytime soon.
Yes.
Now my question is, with regards, in light with that particular incident and many other incidents, like you're saying, did occur, what's your rating on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10.
Independence.
The independence of parliament, I would say it's at 89%.
89%.
89%, yes,
Okay, now
89%.
Still on the issue of independence of Parliament. Now, she mentioned 2017. Some MPs
but
were
I wanted to
bankrolled.
bring
Now, let me take you a little bit back. Let me
what
take
Parliament has done, and you don't want to refer to it. You are referring to only one scenario.
We shall get to that.
Which has occurred within these years since independence.
Let me give you a second scenario. In 2005, when term limits were being removed, MPs were again bankrolled to remove term limits.
I don't know.
And during the age limit deliberations, it was the members from opposition that said, actually it's the parliament that removed term limits that did a disservice, because they said we wouldn't be having a conversation about age limit if term limits hadn't been removed. Now, that aside, it actually looks like we have problems when it comes to independence in our parliament.
We don't have a problem.
Okay, we don't have a problem.
Now, these are people's representatives.
Okay. How did
Uganda
get to host such a conference of this magnitude? Because you're supposed to be a model country,
and we are
emulate that they should emulate.
Yes.
Yes. How did you get to host such a conference of this magnitude?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
How we get to host this conference is because of the confidence that we have built in among the international community and Commonwealth Parliamentary Association.
Confidence too.
Yes, because each country can follow a certain process of how you are legislating on your laws. And if what comes out, if the people's representatives are representing their people's views, then the other country cannot poke in its nose to say that here you are wrong, here you are right. No, because that is you. And the other country also will have its own practices. But you have to look at them. If they are the best, you pick those other tenets which are the best. If they are not, you leave out. And that's how we had to convince the CPA family to host them, because they know that we amended the constitution, and they also amend the constitution.
Right.
Yeah. What happened in our parliament? In other parliaments also, you have seen now there is a country which has suspended, the executive has suspended.
In the United Kingdom.
I don't want to trade that line.
All right. So clearly, Honorable, what you're saying is that when we look at Uganda in light of other African countries, ideally we're doing quite well, and that's why we're given the honors to host the 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference. All right, let's move way from that. It seems like it erupts a lot of emotion in you. Okay, let's get into the question of the young population within Africa. Now, according to statistics given by the United Nations, and this is 2015, now the youth in Africa constitutes 19% of the global youth population. Now, here in Uganda, we know the youth are actually the majority. We're talking of a percentage of 70-80 of our population. We are now close to 50 million Ugandans with regards to our population now. My question is, what conversations will be spearheaded in this particular conference so that parliaments can actually look at the big numbers of the young people in Africa as a positive with regards to the youth dividend, looking at them as an opportunity and not as a liability? What conversations will be, handled in that light?
I believe the genesis of the youth unemployment topic was based on what you are bringing out, because almost all countries are grappling with youth unemployment. And we cannot say that they are not educated. Education is one part to make sure that you aid them to be able to present themselves for any opportunity and also be able to face any challenge. So during the conference, which is due to take place on 22nd, the youth themselves are part and parcel of the legislative body. So we expect them to think outside the box, to look at the other youth who have remained outside, be able to tease out those strategies which can be used to try and address this issue of unemployment.
So the question of demographic, harnessing the demographic dividend will also be discussed there.
Because they are there.
Will it be theoretical or practical? What exactly will happen in this particular conversation?
We are going to use a group method of discussions. We shall group the different youth. We shall, because we are getting youth from all these 53 countries and plus the provinces. So in our discussion, we shall first of all have the presentations from the host, the initiator of the topic, and then we shall have discussions from the academia. Then we shall have discussions from these other youth bodies, like from Uganda. We shall also have to make our input. We shall also get presentation from these youth who are in entrepreneurship development. Because they have to tell us the challenges also they are going through. And if at all, where they are, if it can help these young people. Then we shall break them into groups. And then in groups, we expect them to go into details we don't want to use the strategy of us imposing, the
Right.
old people imposing onto the young people the strategies without them participating. And that's why this round table for the youth is very important.
What next after that? Are there going to be pledges where countries will say that, hey, the deliberations and the solutions proposed, we pledge that we are going to work on this, execute, and give ourselves timelines? Is that going to happen?
Yes, after the debates within the roundtable sessions, all the resolutions that will have come up within the roundtable discussions will be presented to the main meeting, where all of us will converge, even those of us who might not have attended the youth roundtable. So they will present their resolutions, and once those resolutions are adopted, then each country will take back the resolutions and domesticate them according to their different laws.
Okay.
So whatever resolution that comes out during the CPA meeting, and it's adopted by the general meeting, when all of us meet after the breakaway sessions, we meet, and once we adopt them, then each country will go back and present those resolutions at the floor of their parliaments, and once they are adopted, then they become part and parcel of our laws.
Right.
So you have to start domesticating them. You get the relevant ministries to handle certain resolutions. If they have talked about to Ministry of Trade and Industry, you pass to them the resolution which was passed. If it's Ministry of Gender, you also pass on that one, like that, until when all the resolutions have been implemented.
And the same will be
and
reviewed.
then next
Right.
year, during the same meeting, then we assess again the youth roundtable. Of course, it may be having different members.
Right.
They will have to go through these resolutions and find out how did your country
Okay,
perform.
all right.
And
So
they-
some accountability.
Yes.
Interesting conversation right here with Mrs. Jalia Lukumu, woman member of Parliament, Masinde. We've been discussing
And I'm
various
the
issues.
and I'm the chairperson in CPA Uganda branch.
And
Right.
she's the chairperson of CPA
And I'm the
Uganda
chairperson
branch.
CPC organizing committee.
Oh, good job.
Quite a good
And I'm
CV.
the chairperson conference management for this 64 CPC.
So we've been discussing.
And I'm the vice
yes.
chairperson, CWP, Commonwealth Women Parliamentary Association,
Right.
Africa region.
The greatest CV right there from Mrs. Jalia Lukumu. We've been discussing the forthcoming Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Conference slated for the 22nd to the 29th of this month. Do book your dates so that you can show up and get the latest, especially the youth that are grappling with unemployment as we speak. Now, moving on, Mrs. Jalia. Let's now talk about the executive. You've tried to defend the president, and I'm also going to defend him on this one. The president championed, yes.
To,
No.
related
It's okay,
to
it's
CPA,
related. Yes,
mhm.
I'm commending the president. The president championed the gender gap in politics in the country. At least unlike his predecessors, Obote, Amin, we've seen more women represented in parliament, in the cabinet, and other minority groups.
and in executive, and in public service and civil service.
He has done quite well to ensure that women and other minority groups are represented. Now, in your opinion, let's head, now we are talking about parliament now. Do you think women and other minority groups have been rightly represented?
They are represented, but of course we still want more representation of women in parliament, because we have signed so many protocols. Uganda signed the Maputo Protocol, and we are part and parcel of the Beijing platform, and the African Protocol on gender, where which requires a country to have at least 50-50%.
So let's stick to
Because
that.
in our population, our population strata, the women are 51%.
So let's stick
So,
to. Go ahead.
We are now around 30 something there percent. So we are still grappling, but I believe we shall get there to 50%.
So
At
we are
least the
still
30%, we are far ahead of so many countries which
Who are below 10.
which are coming to attend the Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference.
So you are a
So
model
we are
country that they are going to emulate.
Yes, we are part of those few countries who have reached at least above 20.
Right.
Because
Okay.
there are those ones which are still below 20.
So let's now
So
stick
in gender
at,
representation, we are not performing badly. Although we still
But we
want
need to get somewhere.
up
Okay.
to 50%.
So let's stick to the solutions. What other solutions would you propose be discussed at this conference?
Not what other solutions. One, I know we
One,
are, we
more
are going to
representation of women and minority
yes,
groups too.
Yes, not minority, other interest groups. Yeah, interest groups. That representation. Then we're also going to discuss about the environment within the legislative systems, if at all they are conducive for the women to be able to also to participate. We are specifically going to look at a topic on bullying, you know.
In Parliament.
No,
Bullying in Parliament?
Bullying generally,
As a general?
but also it may be there also in Parliament, yeah.
Yes.
But bullying generally, because you know it may also affect the performance of the different groupings within the Parliament. So that is also an area which we are going to talk about. But also as Uganda, because the other countries are coming to learn from us, we have those laws which we passed, which are really the case to show to the other countries, like the certificate of gender equity.
Right.
This is not anywhere in the world.
Gender
So
equity.
it's a requirement for the certificate of gender equity to be presented before you can present any law, any bill, not even a budget. You must have a certificate of gender equity indicating if you want these monies, how much is going, how much are you allocating to the gender component, to the women, to these other groupings.
Right.
And that is a case to learn from. So most of these countries want to know, how did we get past it?
How
And
did
it was
we
a
get
private
past
members
it?
bill.
Now, will sexual violence be discussed at any point, because we are living in the Me Too era? The Me Too global movement has taken center stage worldwide. Now, will it be discussed?
Oh yes, most
Sexual
of those
violence?
issues will come up naturally in the deliberations.
Because I believe
yes,
our female MPs might be suffering silently.
Are you
don't
suffering?
know. I don't know.
Have you
Honorable
had
says
any-
to
I'm not
refute that.
suffering. I'm
Okay.
not suffering. I've lived happily with the
All right,
with
moving
the
on,
older
Honorable.
members.
As we bring this to a wrap now, many experts have come to say that maybe, just maybe, Uganda will not harness the potential there is in this particular 64th Parliamentary Conference with regards to making sure that we milk this opportunity to the core. We're looking at tourism, we're looking at different other aspects. How ready are you? You are in the organizing committee. How have you brought other stakeholders to ensure that we maximize on this huge opportunity that comes once in a lifetime?
On harnessing the benefits out of the CPA, one thing that I want to note that the fact that this conference draws roughly 800 plus delegates, it shows that on the onset we're going to harness something from it, because one, these delegates, they are going to be accommodated and they are going to pay for the accommodation.
Correct.
They are in dollars. So all those dollars, the foreign exchange, of course, goes up, and they are going to eat. That means also the farmers who are selling food, they will make money. It may be an indirect benefit, but of course you are selling because there is consumption,
Right.
and people are consuming, so they are going to also to benefit. But also these people who are coming here, it's out of the marketing of our country and the beautiful country. That's why most of them are coming. Some are not coming actually even to attend, to sit there throughout. Some are coming just to tour.
Right.
So when somebody tours, wherever he goes, he's buying something, he's drinking, he's eating, that means he's giving you money.
You know, you talked of...
But also
right.
there is marketing outside. Today we may, 22nd to 29th, we may get 800 plus. But the after effect of the conference, we are going to get even more tourists.
So
Actually, we have been rated in a few years to come.
Is the public
shall be-
invited, or is only invites only?
Oh yeah, the public is going to attend. Some of the members from the public and the dignitaries will attend the official opening. But also we have organized an exhibition where the local manufacturers, like these ones who are in craft making and using the local materials, we're encouraging Bubu. They are going to exhibit, And we have told them, you exhibit, also come carry those ones which you can sell. Because when they come, they want to know, your country, what are you making?
Right.
Can we buy some and take back home?
All right.
So the exhibition is there, is set, and so many people applied. We have so far received now the ones who have been selected, they are around 60.
So fully booked now. Okay.
60 exhibitors. But also we have those ones who are exhibiting at the source of the Nile, because the delegates on 25th, a certain group of delegates, they wanted to visit the source of the Nile because of their attachment. Some they want to know, where does this long river start from.
Right.
Interesting, but I'm afraid,
so we shall have also exhibition there. We shall have also exhibition at the Equator. Equator is one of the iconic places, and a number of delegates will be taken there. We shall take some to Kagulu rocks. Some want to do exercise to climb, and the exhibitors are there. So Ugandans around there, they have been positioned to make sure that we mint money. Okay. And also we are bringing the performers from the different regions within the country. We want to show them our culture. Our culture is so rich. And also there at the venue is at Munyonyo. The main venue will be Munyonyo. That's why we are going to have official opening, and that's why we shall have also the other meetings that will be taking place from Munyonyo. At Munyonyo, we are going to invite some of some people representing different regions to come and show their cultures, that like Karamojong.
So clearly Uganda will be marketed at 100%.
Yes.
Indeed,
but also we shall be creating opportunities for investment, because some of these people coming.
For the youth who are unemployed.
For the youth, but also the other big ones.
Right.
Yeah, because some people are coming.
Foreign investments vis-a-vis youth unemployment in Uganda. But because I understand this is the main gist of the story.
But when the
it will be unemployment.
Yes. No, for unemployment
the main topic from the 22nd to the 29th. Will it be unemployment?
For the youth round table. That is specifically for the youth round table. But we have issues of climate change also. We have a round table which will be handling the climate change.
Issues that we shall discuss on a later date. I'm afraid we've run out of time. We've been speaking to woman, Member of Parliament for Masindi, Mrs. Jalia Lukumu, and we've been deliberating on issues about the forthcoming Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Conference that is slated from the 22nd to the 29th of this month. Right about now, well, Ms. Jali is still speaking to me, but I'm afraid we will have to do this some other time. Let's now link into Stephen Bide right now with the traffic update. I'm afraid we are running out of time. Bide, what's the latest on the road this morning?